is a creative force. The ebb and flow of the tide. The coursing of a river. A sudden downpour. The tireless movement of water to the sea, shaping, smoothing, and sculpting. This water is life to all living things. This water gives us pleasure. We sail upon this water to discover, to explore, to cruise. The Hawaiian Islands are the most isolated masses in the largest ocean on Earth. The MS Patriot cruises these waters each week with the spirit of adventure. The MS Patriot's tour of the Hawaiian Islands begins with a voyage from Oahu to Kauai. The trip across the Kauai Channel is approximately 100 nautical miles. Kauai is often called the Garden Isle because of the island's abundant tropical foliage. Nawiliwili Harbor, the MS Patriot's first port of call, is on the southeastern coast of Kauai. The most western inhabited island in the Hawaiian chain, Kauai is 33 miles long, 25 miles wide, and has an area of 553 square miles. Known throughout the world as the romantic setting of many well-known movies, Kauai is best seen in one day by helicopter. From above, the Garden Island offers countless breathtaking views. The ancient name for Kauai was Kamavelualani. The island was renamed to honor the chief, Kauai, who was known for his good deeds and prosperous reign. Wakea and Papa, ancestors of the Hawaiian people, were the parents of Kauai, as well as Maui and Hawaii. Waimea Canyon winds majestically over 10 square miles. Kokee State Park lies adjacent to the canyon and is one of the few areas left in Hawaii with a wide range of native plant life. Along the 15-mile rugged Nepali coast, spectacular spires and domes of elaborate natural cathedrals can be seen. Ancient Hawaiians lived in many of the isolated valleys in fishing and farming settlements where they utilized Nepali's abundance of fresh waterfalls. Honolei's lush river valley leads to its well-known bay. Usually defined as Crescent Bay, Honolei is more accurately translated as wreath-making or lay valley. Wreaths of moisture are created in the upper valley from the frequent rainfall. Overlooking Honolei is Princeville Resort, named in honor of Kamehameha IV and Queen Emma's son Prince Kahaku o Hawaii, who visited the area with his parents in 1860. Volcanic eruptions from Waialeale crater millions of years ago created the entire island of Kauai. Mount Waialeale is 5,080 feet high and is said to be the wettest spot on Earth with an average annual rainfall of 476 inches. Waialeale means rippling or overflowing water. According to legend, the Mu people from the floating island Kanehunamoku were brought to Kauai by Kalalehua, a chief of Waimea, to dig a channel from the lake atop Waialeale, which would allow the water to flow to the Wailua River. The Mu did not comply with the chief's wishes, so Kalalehua exiled them to the Alakai swamp above Waialeale. In the south branch of the Wailua River is an impressive waterfall called Wailua Falls. Kaumoali'i, the last king of Kauai, would jump from the top of the falls into the pool below for fun. The vast Waimea Canyon is also impressive when viewed from land. The canyon is reached after passing through the quaint town Waimea, where Captain Cook first landed in Hawaii in 1778. Both the town and canyon Waimea are named for the reddish water which comes from the abundant red soil. Rolling green foothills lead to the Waimea Canyon Lookout at the elevation of 3,400 feet. The canyon is 10 miles long, 1 mile wide, and 3,600 feet deep. Mark Twain called it the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. Wind and water have etched away at the red volcanic rock, revealing delicate layers of strata. In beautiful contrast, lush green foliage lines the canyon walls. Adjacent to Waimea State Park lies Kokee State Park and the Napali Kona Forest Reserve. The Kalalau Lookout at the end of Highway 550 is one of Kauai's most spectacular vistas. The final destination of the rigorous 11-mile Napali Coast hike, Kalalau Valley can be easily seen on sunny days. Cloudy days, however, reveal Kauai's legendary mystical beauty. Yet another way to experience the Waimea Canyon is by bicycle. Riders mostly coast down 12 miles of Kokee Road along the outside rim of the mountain. The crisp morning air, incredible views, and friendly guides make this one of Kauai's most memorable experiences. From the canyon lookout where the ride begins, the nearby island Ni'ihau can be seen on a clear morning. Ni'ihau is part of Kauai County and is privately owned by the Robinson family. Only native Hawaiians reside on the remote island. Another fun site for biking is along Poipu's scenic coastal road on Kauai's southern shore. A favorite stopping point is the blustery Spouting Horn, which can be seen and heard during high tide. Water is forced through the lava tubes by crashing waves and then explodes into the air in spectacular fountains of salt spray and foam. Kauai's southern coastline is also popular with snorkelers. There's a wide variety of tropical sea life to view along the coral-lined waters. An octopus will eject a dark ink in order to confuse a predator. Hawaiian green sea turtles were once an endangered species, but are now seen quite frequently in the Hawaiian waters. Hawaiian monk seals are endemic to the islands and are on the endangered species list. This mother chose to give birth at Poipu Beach. The young pup will nurse for 6 weeks until it has grown to well over 100 pounds. During that time, the mother will not eat and will lose almost 1/3 of her body weight. Kauai's rugged Maholapu coast on the southeast corner of Kauai can be viewed by several different touring possibilities. A nature walk along the spectacular wilderness coastal area reveals hidden beaches and sea cliffs. Traveling by horseback covers a varied and diverse terrain. The name of this wild coastline, Maholapu, means falling together and is a reference to a great battle which took place here in the 1300s. Despite the coastline's harsh environment, a lush native vegetation has evolved. Due to the hard work of environmentalists, this area remains undeveloped. A spectacular view of the velvety Kaluahonu Valley, the rugged Maholapu coastline, and the entire south side of the island can be seen from the top of this privately owned mountain ridge. Close by is Old Koloa Town, Hawaii's first plantation settlement. Just north lies former sugarcane land, which can be explored on all-terrain vehicles or while touring in a four-wheel drive van. Numerous single-track trails and old sugarcane roads wind through desert and rainforest microclimates. This area is inaccessible to the general public, making it the ultimate site for an off-road adventure. One of the highlights is traveling in the half-mile tunnel through the heart of the Haupu mountain range. Built after World War II with excess military dynamite, the tunnel saved the sugar plantation valuable time when traveling between the sugarcane fields and the Kaloa mill. The movie 6 Days, 7 Nights, starring Harrison Ford and Anne Heche, was filmed in this area. Towards the heart of the island lies the top of Kilohana Crater, site of a breathtaking 360-degree panoramic view. To the southeast is Nawiliwili Harbor, the MS Patriot's home port while visiting Kauai. From the mouth of the bay, you enter Huleia River. Just off the large bend in the river is a Hawaiian fish pond most often called the Menehune Fish Pond, a remarkable aquaculture fish pond developed by only a few ancient societies. It is designed to permit fish to enter the brackish water where they are then managed for food. According to legend, the Menehune, an imaginary race of people who were small in height, constructed the fish pond in a single night. Scholars now think that the Menehune were descendants of the original inhabitants of Hawaii, who possibly came from the Marquesas Islands. They were probably of the servant class, which the Tahitians disparagingly called Manahune, meaning a people of small social status or small stature. The opening scenes of the popular motion picture Raiders of the Lost Ark were filmed in this dramatic jungle-like river setting, which is located in the Huleia National Wildlife Refuge. Further north from Nawiliwili Harbor, on Kauai's eastern coastline, lies the calm Wailua River, Hawaii's only navigable river. The river's southern branch leads to the well-known Fern Grotto. The only way to reach the grotto is by traveling up the river. Flat-bottom riverboats designed for maximum viewing of the river and tropical foliage are used for the 3-mile trip. The lush Fern Grotto lies within the Wailua River State Park. The grotto's Hawaiian name is Mama'akua Lono, quickness of the god Lono. At one time, the cave was home to a young woman named Mama'akua Lono. Hina, who lived close by, wanted the young lady to marry her son. Mama'akua Lono refused. Hina grew angry and dammed the river until the water began to fill the cave. Mama'akua Lono jumped into the river to escape, but was in danger when Hina broke the dam free. As Mama'akua Lono was swept to the sea, she called to her 3 brothers in the form of a long chant. Her brothers prayed to Lono to rescue her. Lono was so moved by the brothers' prayer that he brought Mama'akua Lono safely ashore on Oahu, where she rested until her return to Kauai and her cave in Wailua. The Wailua River flows over a high cliff, resulting in the dramatic Opeka'a Falls, named for the days when an abundance of shrimp swam in the turbulent waters at the base of the falls. The Kuhio Highway leads north from Wailua toward Hanalei and the end of the road, first passing through the quaint old plantation town Kapa'a. The Kilauea Point Lighthouse marks the northernmost point of the main Hawaiian island chain. Kilauea Point is now a wildlife refuge. Highway 56 continues north, passing through lush countryside and river valleys. From Hanalei Lookout is a majestic view of Hanalei Valley with lo'i, or pond fields for growing taro, the staple root plant of the traditional Hawaiian diet. Laulau, a favorite luau dish, is made from taro leaves wrapped around a variety of meats and then cooked in an imu, an underground oven. Quaint Honolulu town provides yet another taste of true small-town island flavor. A series of picturesque one-lane bridges wind along coastal forests and pristine beaches. This road ranks as one of the world's most scenic and exquisite drives. Hawaiian chiefs are said to have gathered in the wet and dry caves of Haena in ancient times. The caves were formed from lava tubes. The well-known landmark, Makana, means gift. This triangular peak was nicknamed Bali High after the popular musical South Pacific, which was filmed here. From Kauai, the MS Patriot continues eastward toward Maui. The overnight voyage covers 181 nautical miles. Maui is known as the Valley Isle because of its unique geography. It was formed by two volcanic mountains which are separated by a low central plain. Kahului Harbor, the MS Patriot's second port of call, is located on the north side of the island. Maui is the second largest island in the Hawaiian group, measuring 48 miles long, 26 miles wide, with an area of 728 square miles. Haleakala is the highest mountain on Maui, with an elevation of 10,023 feet. Translated literally from Hawaiian, Haleakala means house used by the sun. According to Hawaiian legend, the daylight hours were at one time too short, so Maui, the demigod, wove a net from fibers of the i'e'e vine and the olona shrub. He then hid and waited for La, the sun, to appear. With perfect timing, he flung his net high over La and held him captive until the sun promised not to cross the sky so quickly. Afterwards, everyone had more time for necessary activities, such as fishing and drying tapa cloth in the warmth of the sun. Haleakala Crater, which last erupted in 1790, is the world's largest dormant volcano. Its summit is an oval-shaped depression nearly 7.5 miles long and 2.5 miles wide. A vast expanse of swirling red sands and multicolored cinder cones lie within the crater. The colors are determined by the varying chemical composition of the ancient lava. There is a science city atop Haleakala where several observatories are located. Haleakala gives scientists a unique vantage point to study stars and planets. This unusual plant, the silver sword, grows within the crater's harsh environment. Its Hawaiian name, Ahina Ahina, which means very gray, reflects the plant's patina. The silver sword is a slow bloomer. It takes anywhere from 4 to 20 years to flower, producing over 100 purplish blooms similar to tiny sunflowers. Once the seeds have matured, the plant will die. Haleakala National Park is also home to the Hawaii state bird, the nene goose. The nene are endemic to the Hawaiian Islands and at one time were almost extinct. Biking down the slopes of Haleakala is an exciting way to experience the beauty of this East Maui mountain. The over 38-mile downhill ride winds through a variety of terrain, starting at the 10,000-foot summit and ending at sea level. The bikers coast at approximately 20 miles per hour. Maui is known for its great windsurfing and now kite sailing. This is because the lower isthmus between the two dormant volcanoes creates a unique wind tunnel effect. On the eastern side of the island, below its youngest volcano mass, is one of Maui's dense rainforests. Highway 36 leads to the east by way of the quaint sugarcane town, Paia, which lies on Haleakala's North Rift. Soon after follows Ho'okipa, the windsurfing capital of Hawaii. Each year, the world's best windsurfers gather here to compete in a variety of contests. East Maui's rainforest is virtually inaccessible by land. The plunging waterfalls and hidden pools can be viewed only by helicopter. As the streams wind their way to the sea, they gradually carve and sculpt Maui's beautiful verdant cliffs. Knowledgeable guides weave tales of Hawaiian culture and history with scientific fact as they lead hikers on a lush Maui rainforest trail located right off the road to Hana. The waterfalls range from 10 to 40 feet high. Each has an inviting freshwater swimming hole. Vibrant tropical foliage such as this hanging heliconia lines the trail. Maui's Hana Highway is known for its beautiful yet curvy road which winds along the entire base circumference of Haleakala. This lush coastline can be toured either by a 3-hour mini coach ride or by a 15 to 20-minute flight aboard a small airplane. During the flight, coastal waterfalls and other spectacular sights that cannot be easily seen from land are viewed. When traveling along the Hana Highway by car or mini coach, the incredible scenery can be viewed close up. Built in 1926, the original gravel highway made it possible for trucks and cars to travel between Hana and Kahului for the first time. About 2 miles before Hana town is Wainapanapa State Park. The park is a combination of a dense hala, or pandanus forest, and a wild, rugged coastline with rocky cliffs and a black sand beach. This is the only true black sand beach on Maui. It was formed from lava which flowed from Haleakala long ago. Freshwater caves are also located within the lush state park. Hana Town is a quiet haven for tourists from all over the world, as well as for local kids. A lava rock cross located on a grassy hill overlooking the town was erected in 1970 in memory of Paul Fagan, who started the Hana Ranch in 1944. Cattle can still be seen grazing on Hana's expansive pasture land. Hasegawa General Store is another of Hana's quaint landmarks. The store is Hana's oldest family-owned business and was established in 1910. Hana Bay was once called Kapueokahi, the single owl. At its southern end is Kauiki Head, a large cinder cone which was formed during one of Haleakala's lava flows. Queen Kaahumanu, a favorite wife of Kamehameha I, was born in a cave at the base of Kauiki Head. Hamoa is a beautiful sandy beach along Maui's isolated and unspoiled eastern coastline. There is an abundance of waterfalls in this area due to the many rock layers formed from various lava flows and because of the many streams which flow from near the top of Haleakala. Wailua Falls can be seen from the highway off a moss-covered cement bridge. Further along the highway in the Kipahulu district of Haleakala National Park are the beautiful Oheo stream and pools. Kipahulu once supported a large Hawaiian population because of its fertile land. Due to its high importance to the ali'i, many battles took place here. Also, the Big Island is relatively close, only 31 miles away across Alenuihaha Channel. King Kamehameha stopped here when he came to Maui to conquer the island. Charles Lindbergh spent the last days of his life in quiet Hana. The lush climate changes to an arid terrain as Highway 31 runs around the southern part of Maui. Despite the desert climate, this area was highly populated in ancient times. Many house sites and villages have been found well within sight of the ocean at the mouth of freshwater trenches. There are over 7 miles of unpaved road connecting the Hana and Pi'ilani highways. The Tedeschi Winery, Maui's only commercial vineyard, is located in Ulupalakua. This stone cottage was built in 1874 for a visit by Hawaii's King Kalakaua. The original building is still intact and is a popular point of interest. West Maui is much older than East Maui, with its volcanic activity having ceased about 1 million years ago. Streams have eroded incredibly deep gorges. Waterfalls and verdant cliffs abound. The Wall of Tears is said to be the second wettest spot on Earth. An intimate way to experience West Maui is by hiking the Waihe'e Ridge Trail, which begins at 1,000 feet above sea level. It continues up to the elevation of 2,600 feet. The knowledgeable guide trained in Hawaiian botany, ethnobotany, culture, and history leads the hike while pointing out some of Hawaii's endemic plants. Several West Maui streams, including Waihe'e and Iao, have cut deep ravines into the West Maui volcano, transporting its core material to the mouth of the canyons. Altogether, this alluvial plain measures 8 miles in length. Another way to experience the beauty of West Maui is by saddling up a horse and riding along some of the area's most appealing horseback trails. Local guides lead riders along a variety of terrains. Numerous sea caves line the wave-washed shoreline. Stops are made for enjoying the incredible scenery. The most well-known valley gorge on Maui is Iao Valley. Moisture pours over the West Maui Mountains and spreads out into the valley below, often forming a curtain of clouds. It was for that reason the valley was named Iao, or Cloud Supreme. The famed Iao Valley Needle is a 2,250-foot lava rock, which is essentially a large point at the end of a long, sharp ridge. At one time, Iao was a sacred burying place for Hawaiian chiefs. Kapava, the chief of Waialua Oahu, was the first chief to be laid away in Kapela, a cave deep within Iao Valley. Just off the road to the Iao Needle are the Heritage Gardens, where several of Hawaii's more prominent ethnic groups' styles of gardening are depicted. The magic of Iao Valley can also be experienced by taking a guided nature walk. An interactive museum at the Hawaii Nature Center depicts the interworkings of a real rainforest. Crossing a picturesque narrow bridge over Iao Stream, the journey into mystical Iao Valley begins. Ancient footpaths lead through remnants of old village sites. Taro, a Hawaiian food staple, is still growing in the lush valley. In other parts of the world, rainforest life resides in its high canopy. In Hawaii, however, there are no major predators, so rainforests have developed on the forest floor. Located in the island's central plain is Maui Tropical Plantation, a 60-acre working plantation. During the narrated tram ride, frequent stops are made for the close inspection of a variety of tropical fruits, such as mango and banana. The fragrant plumeria flowers are commonly used in Hawaii for making leis. Blue jade is one of the more unusual plants grown on the plantation. The angel's trumpet tree, called Nanahonua in Hawaiian, means gazing earthward. Anthuriums and bromeliads are raised under a protective shade cloth. During the tour, the secret to husking a coconut is demonstrated. Practical pointers for serving pineapple at home are also shown. On the leeward side of the West Maui Mountains is the quaint coastal town Lahaina. The capital of the islands was located here from 1820 to 1854, until Honolulu took over that role. The old courthouse served as a customs house, while Lahaina was a popular whaling port. The banyan tree is the most recognizable landmark on the west side. It was planted in 1873 by the sheriff of the town to mark the 50th anniversary of Protestant missionaries in Lahaina. The Carthaginian, a replica of a 19th century brig, is typical of the first freighters used to bring commerce to Maui. Several blocks of art galleries and shops also add to Lahaina's present-day appeal. Just north is the Ka'anapali Beach Resort, which is known for its pristine sandy beach and ideal swimming conditions year-round. In the winter months, the calm leeward waters off Lahaina are a mecca for whales and whale watchers. The North Pacific humpback whales are an endangered species protected by the Endangered Species Act. In the summer months, the humpback whales feed in northern waters on krill and small schooling fish. In the winter, however, they migrate to warmer southern waters for mating and calving. Hawaii is one of 3 nearshore areas where the whales migrate to bear their young. The 2 other areas are western Mexico and the islands of southern Japan. Hawaii is the only state in the United States where humpbacks mate, calve, and nurse their young. Scientists have been studying North Pacific humpback whales in Hawaii in an effort to save this endangered species. Hydrophones aboard the whale-watching boats make it possible to hear the whales' songs. Maui's calm waters off Lahaina are especially attractive to the whales because of the protective boundary created by the proximity of the other Hawaiian islands, Lanai and Kaho'olawe. Occasionally, whales will approach and then surround a whale-watching boat. This is a highlight of any whale-watching experience and is called being mugged. The crescent-shaped islet known as Molokini is a popular site for snorkeling. Tour boats depart from either Lahaina or Ma'alea Harbor. Molokini is actually part of a protruding rim of a sunken dormant volcano. Countless colorful fish are attracted to this tranquil site and can be easily seen by snorkelers and divers. According to Hawaiian legend, Pele's lover Lohi'au, who lived at Ma'alea, took a mu'u, or lizard, for his wife. Pele became so angry that she bisected the mu'u. Her head became the islet known as Molokini, which literally means many ties. Maui's beautiful waters can also be explored by an ocean kayak adventure. Local guides give informative instruction on how to paddle correctly and safely. Setting out from historic Makena Landing, kayakers encounter the picturesque Makena Bay and coastline. Snorkeling at beautiful coral reefs teeming with tropical fish is a highlight of the experience. Green sea turtles are aquatic reptiles which are cold-blooded. Therefore, they prefer warmer climates like Hawaii. Yet another way to discover the mysterious world which lies hidden below Hawaii's oceans is by visiting the Maui Ocean Center. A 240-degree clear acrylic tunnel makes it possible to explore the depths of an open ocean while simply walking along a path. The 750,000-gallon saltwater tank is filled with nearly 2,000 fish, sharks, and underwater creatures. The living reef display features live coral and colorful tropical reef fish species. Maui Ocean Center is not only the largest aquarium in Hawaii, but it is also the largest tropical aquarium in the Western Hemisphere. Across the Pailolo Channel from Maui lies the island of Molokai, which may be seen while touring by helicopter or aboard an 8-person Cessna airplane. Northern Molokai is known for its sea cliffs, which rise 3,000 feet from the sea. Located on this rugged northern coastline is Kalaupapa Peninsula, the site of the modern Hansen's disease settlement. A resident guides the land tour telling interesting stories which have been passed down through the years. The first shipment of leprosy patients was delivered to the peninsula in January 1866. The outcasts encountered harsh living conditions and suffered immensely. Father Damien came to Kalaupapa in May 1873 at the age of 33 to live and work among the people at the settlement. For 16 years he lived beside the patients until he too died of Hansen's disease in April 1889 at the age of 49. The church St. Philomena was expanded by Father Damien and is commonly known as Father Damien's Church. No one may enter the colony without being invited or sponsored by an individual who lives there or by participating in a scheduled tour. Ancient Hawaiians inhabited this peninsula for at least 900 years. The park contains one of the richest and least disturbed archaeological preserves in Hawaii. The lighthouse at Molokai was the tallest light tower in the islands and the brightest in the Pacific when it was completed in 1909. The MS Patriot sails from Maui for the island of Hawaii. The voyage across Alenuihaha Channel is 156 nautical miles. Hawaii is the most eastern inhabited island in the chain and contains the most southern point in the United States. The MS Patriot docks on the eastern coast of Hawaii at Hilo Harbor. Hawaii is the largest island in the Hawaiian group, measuring 93 miles long, 76 miles wide, with an area of 4,038 square miles, and is most frequently called the Big Island. Located just off Hilo Bay is a tranquil public park. Liliuokalani Gardens is a 31-acre Japanese-style park with arched bridges and waterways. The gardens were named in honor of Hawaii's last monarch and have many peaceful settings for quiet contemplation. Adjacent is Banyan Drive, where there are large banyan trees which were planted here in the 1930s by visiting celebrities such as Cecil B. DeMille. Just outside of Hilo Town is the Wailuku River State Park, which features Rainbow Falls, a beautiful 80-foot waterfall. According to Hawaiian legend, the goddess Hina lived in a cave beneath the falls. Mo'okuna, a giant eel lizard, tried to drown Hina after she refused his affection. Just before she was about to drown, however, Hina called out to her son Maui for help. He was able to magically canoe to Hawaii with only 2 powerful strokes of his paddle, where he then fought the mo'o in a fierce battle. The boiling pots in Wailuku River State Park are a reminder of that legendary battle. After the goddess Pele threw hot lava rocks into the river to drive out Mo'okuna and help Maui slay the giant eel lizard, the river boiled angry rapids. North of Hilo is a spectacular 4-mile scenic route. The drive has been appropriately named for the many beautiful sights viewed along the 2-lane road. Located just off this coastal route lies Onomea Bay and the Hawaii Tropical Botanical Garden. The 17-acre nature preserve has been described as a beautiful garden in a valley on the ocean. The garden's incredible setting in Onomea Valley offers exceptional views of the Big Island's rugged eastern coastline and its interesting rock formations. Red jade is one of the many varieties of tropical plants grown here. The orchid garden is a treat for nature lovers and a photographer's paradise. The garden's collection also includes exotic tropical plants, such as pineapple and cocoa. Thunbergia sorense is yet another of the over 2,000 species of plants and flowers located in Hawaii Tropical Botanical Garden. Further north lies Akaka Falls State Park. The falls can be viewed after walking along a paved trail surrounded by dense tropical foliage. Akaka Falls drops 422 feet and is one of the tallest waterfalls in Hawaii. The 100-foot Kahuna Falls can also be seen after following the bamboo and fern-lined trail downstream. Another waterfall along the Big Island's scenic eastern coast is the triple-tier Umauma Falls, which is located within the World Botanical Gardens. Geologically, the Big Island is the youngest island and was formed by 5 separate volcanoes. Mauna Kea, one of the 5 volcanoes, is now dormant and is the highest mountain in Hawaii, measuring 13,796 feet. On a clear day, enormous Mauna Kea can be easily seen from Hilo. The route to the summit passes through several distinct ecosystems and many historic lava flows. A short hike up the Pu'uhuluhulu cinder cone, which lies at 6,000 feet, is a perfect opportunity to acclimate. The drive to the summit rises gradually up the dormant volcano. The Onizuka Visitor Center has many informative displays which explain the various observatories located at the summit. A 4-wheel drive vehicle must be used when traveling over the rugged terrain to the top of Mauna Kea. The extreme altitude change experienced during this tour is clearly portrayed by the increase of air volume in the chip bag which came from sea level. Some of the most incredible views on the planet can be enjoyed from the top of Mauna Kea. On a clear day, Mount Haleakala on the neighboring island of Maui can be seen. Astronomers from over 10 countries operate the telescopes atop Mauna Kea. One of the world's largest telescopes is located at the Keck Observatory. Hilo, the second largest city in the state, is known for its wide assortment of gardens. Nanimau Gardens, which means forever beautiful, is one of the most popular. Fragrant tropical flowers, fruit trees, and palms are pointed out during the guided walking tour. The beautiful anthurium means tail flower. Nanimau Gardens covers 20 lush acres and is known for her extensive orchid collection. More orchids are grown on the Big Island than anywhere else in the world. For that reason, the island Hawaii is also called the Orchid Island. The Hawaiian Eco Adventure Tour offers the unique opportunity to visit a working orchid farm. South of Hilo in the Puna district is Lava Tree State Park, a very unusual park which dates back to the 1796 lava flow. Coming from the East Rift Zone, the 14-foot deep molten lava surrounded trees which were very wet. Once the trees did burn, a hole was left. Now, hundreds of years later, standing tree molds and the rejuvenated rainforest can be seen. The eco-adventure includes snorkeling in calm, protected tide pools formed from past lava flows. The final stop of the tour is at the geothermal hot pond in Ahalunui Park. The Ka'u district of the Big Island reaches to the most southern region of Hawaii and the United States. Not far from South Point is a unique green sand beach. The sand's color comes from the high concentration of dense olivine crystals present in the lava. Ka'u District also includes Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, the most active volcano on Earth. The best way to see the most recent volcanic activity is to tour by helicopter. Hilo is surrounded by fertile farmland and rainforests which gradually give way to black, barren lava as Hawaii Volcanoes National Park draws near. There are several myths which tell the story of how Madame Pele, the goddess of fire, came to reside on the Big Island. According to one version, Pele migrated to the Hawaiian Islands from Tahiti by sailing canoe. She was pursued by her sister, Namaka o Kaha'i, a sea goddess, because Pele had seduced her sister's husband. Pele dug deep pits for her home at Ni'ihau and Kauai. Her powerful older sister, however, continued to chase Pele and flood her sacred fires. Pele was forced to move farther and farther down the island chain. It was near Hana on Maui that some believe Namaka o Kaha'i's relentless pursuit finally ended. A fierce battle took place between the two sisters where Pele's mortal body was torn apart. Pele was then elevated to a goddess and was free to take flight to the Big Island, where she found a permanent home. Pu'u'o'o Vent is the site of the most current eruptions by Madame Pele, Hawaii's fire goddess. Volcanoes National Park is also awe-inspiring when viewed from land. Steam vents give a glimpse of the volcano's incredible, constant heat and are a reminder that the volcano on Hawaii is still alive and active. The Halemaumau crater, which last erupted in 1974, is called the crater within a crater and is said to be home to Madame Pele. The Jaeger Museum is an interpretive geological museum and houses informative displays, films, and scientific instruments measuring the volcano's activity. The museum is located on one of the many overlooks at the Kilauea caldera. Along with Halemaumau crater, Ke'anakakoi crater was formed during the 1974 eruption. Its Hawaiian name means adze-making cave. There was an adze quarry in the crater's pit until the 1877 eruption when it was buried by lava. The 11-mile crater rim drive circles this fascinating and diverse park. Located near Kilauea crater is the Nahuku lava tube, which is now called the Thurston lava tube in honor of a missionary family. The inside of the 450-foot-long lava tube is cool and dark, in contrast to the flaming molten lava which once flowed through these walls. The short path to and from the Thurston lava tube leads through a rainforest. Lush vegetation thrives where once volcanic activity existed. A spectacular view of the crater can be seen from the volcano house, which was built in 1941. A more rigorous way to experience Volcanoes National Park is by hiking with knowledgeable guides. The trail passes through areas with volcanic fumes, such as the sulfur banks. The moderate hike is 6 miles in length, with elevation changes totaling 700 vertical feet. Hikers step over cracks and holes, loose rock, and steaming lava. One of the most dramatic eruptions in Hawaii took place in late 1959. For over 5 weeks, Kilauea Iki spewed explosive fountains of lava, which reached over 1,000 feet in height. When the last fountain sank from sight, a 367-foot deep lava lake was left behind. The hikers are standing at the base of that incredible eruption. The two types of lava, pahoehoe, which is smooth, and a'a, which is jagged and sharp, make up much of the hiking trail. Between 1983 and 1990, lava from Kilauea volcano repeatedly invaded communities along its southern coast. Kalapana was touched briefly in November 1986, and then in 1990, the entire town was covered. This is part of that destructive lava flow from 1990. The arduous 10 to 15-minute walk over the black lava leads to a true black sand beach. As the MS Patriot sails around the southeastern coast of the Big Island en route to Kona, she passes by the area where lava can often be seen entering the ocean in a burst of steam clouds. Madame Pele's temperament is unpredictable, violent, and impulsive. She has both the power to destroy and create new land. Her presence in Hawaii is rooted in ancient times and an ancient people. Yet visitors today are also moved by her ever-present power and majesty. The voyage from Hilo to Kona, traveling past South Point, is 164 nautical miles. The MS Patriot anchors in the bay outside Kailua Kona on the western leeward side of the Big Island. Since the ship is anchored in the bay, a tender is used to shuttle passengers and crew ashore. The Kona Historical Society conducts an informative Kailua Village walking tour led by a knowledgeable guide. The Ahu'ena Hei'au, which was restored to its present state in 1975, is directly across from the pier. King Kamehameha I lived at the edge of Kailua Bay from 1812 until his death in 1819. Another interesting way to explore the historic district of Kailua Kona is by horse-drawn carriage. The tour starts at the large banyan tree in front of the King Kamehameha's Kona Beach Hotel and then runs along Ali'i Drive, the flat coastline road named after Hawaiian royalty. It's an easy walk from the pier to the historic waterfront town, Kailua Kona. The oldest church in Hawaii was founded here in 1820 by Hawaii's first missionaries. In 1837, Moku Aikawa Church was erected by the same group of missionaries and was constructed of crushed coral and lava rock. Across the street is the Hulihe'e Palace, one of only 3 royal palaces in the United States. It was built in 1837 by the governor of the island, Kuakini, and was constructed out of lava, coral, koa wood, and ohia timber. The 2-story building served as King David Kalakaua summer palace in the 1880s. Another fun way to spend part of the day in Kailua Kona is to take an exciting parasail ride. The adventurous are safely floated on and off the back of the boat for a ride of a lifetime. This is an excellent way to view Kona's clear blue waters and Gold Coast. During the slow descent, parasailers are sometimes dipped in the blue Pacific. The clear water is also known for its abundance of tropical sea life. Several options are available for viewing the coast's underwater world. The glass-bottom boat ride begins at the launch site on the Kailua Pier. The Marion is a unique glass-bottom boat which offers easy viewing of marine life. Motoring over Shipwreck Rock, the view rises within inches of the glass. At the drop-off, the bottom plunges to over 100 feet. Colorful tropical fish in their natural environment and corals which thrive in the pristine, clear waters can be seen just minutes away from where the ship anchors. The Atlanta submarine is another choice for viewing underwater sea life without getting wet. Operated by a skilled pilot, the submarine will submerge to depths of 75 to 100 feet. Traveling along a natural coral reef bed, a large variety of tropical marine life can be observed. Once the submarine has reached the maximum depth, a gradual ascent is begun. The Big Island's western coastline is also an ideal site for scuba diving. Beginners are led by a skilled instructor into the easy beach access. It is from this beach and pier that the Kona Ironman Triathlon begins the first section of its grueling 3-part race, the 2.4-mile swim. The pier at Kailua Kona is also the starting point for scuba diving and snorkeling boats which travel up the Big Island's western coast toward Pavai Bay. The leeward side of Hawaii is known for its rocky, lava-covered coastline. Experienced dive guides lead the scuba divers on 2-tank dives. The underwater world here has flourished. Interesting lava tube formations make ideal sites for coral to grow and tropical fish to feed and thrive. The crystal blue waters of Pavai Bay also make an excellent site for snorkeling. Pavai Bay is accessible only by boat and has underwater visibility up to 100 feet. The protected bay is home to many varieties of free fish and sea turtles. Eels are not an uncommon sight. They do have very sharp teeth and are dangerous when provoked. The Hawaiian name for an eel is puhi. Another interesting sea creature is the octopus, which is often called tako or he'e by locals. Tako are possibly the most intelligent of the invertebrates and have 8 arms and excellent eyesight. Pavai Bay is also a fun place for gliding down a water slide and jumping off a high dive platform. Kona's only snorkeling catamaran that really sails, offers yet another way to experience Pavai Bay. Hawaiian spinner dolphins are often sighted while sailing along Kona's leeward coast. They seem to enjoy surfing the wave created at the ship's bow. The Kona coast is also known throughout the world for its calm, year-round deep-sea fishing grounds. Blue marlin and yellowfin tuna are hunted by anglers from around the world each year in the Hawaiian International Billfish Tournament based out of Honokohau Harbor. An exciting motorized Zodiac raft and snorkel trip travels along Kona's coast. The naturalist captain weaves Hawaiian folklore with the adventurous exploration of sea caves and lava tubes. This area of Hawaii is one of the richest archaeological regions in the islands and contains over 25 heiau along a 7-mile portion of the Kona coast. Keoho, which lies south of Kailua Kona, is the beginning point for another snorkel tour boat. South of Keoho lies Kealakekua Bay, site of the Captain Cook Monument. It was here that Captain Cook was killed on February 14, 1779. Literally translated, Kealakekua means pathway of the god. According to legend, Hawaiian gods would slide down the cliff here in order to quickly cross the bay. Kealakekua Bay is now one of Hawaii's finest marine sanctuaries. The water in the bay is calm and crystal clear. Rainbow-striped tropical fish are just one of the marine highlights to be seen. Kealakekua's beautiful pristine bay can also be entered from the tour boat's high dive platform. An even more intimate way to experience Kona's coastline is by kayak. The tour guide leads the group along Kona's southern coastline, where fascinating lava rock formations can be seen. When the seas are calm, lava sea caves can be explored. This highly customized excursion gives kayakers a unique view of Hawaii's youngest island. Weather permitting, the group climbs ashore to examine the coastline even further. Eels can often be sighted in coastal tide pools. Interesting evidence of an ancient Hawaiian settlement is visible by these pounding holes created in the lava. The adventurous jump into the turquoise ocean, where once underwater, a fascinating world filled with tropical fish and beautiful coral gardens is awaiting discovery. Further south of Kailua Kona lies Pu'uhonua o Honaunau, a traditional place of refuge where absolution was granted to lawbreakers and sanctuary provided for defeated warriors, deserters, and other refugees. The National Park Service has dated the sanctuary to about 1550 AD. When the Hawaiian kapu system of rules was ended by King Kamehameha II in 1819, heiau throughout the islands were destroyed. Hale'okeave, however, was spared, most likely because the sacred Hawaiian temple housed the bones of 23 ali'i, or royalty. During its time as the principal heiau for the Pu'uhonua, this platform likely had ki'i, carved images, and thatched huts. In about 1829, Queen Ka'ahumanu, regent and mother of Kamehameha II, ordered that the ancestral bones be moved to the royal mausoleum in Nu'uanu Valley, Oahu. The Great Wall, which surrounds Pu'uhonua o Honaunau, is considered the largest freestanding prehistoric wall in Hawaii. The tea leaves hanging from the roof of this structure were tied to a rope and used to drive fish into the shallows, a fishing method called hukilau. The St. Benedict's Church is a reminder of Hawaii's missionary days. Commonly known as the Painted Church, it features a beautifully hand-painted interior created in 1903 by a Belgian priest, Father Berkmans Velge. The Kona area is a world-famous coffee-growing region. The Greenwell store, which was built around 1875, has been placed on both the Hawaii and National Register of Historical Places because of its rare construction. The old store played an important role in Kona's inland history. The Kona Historical Society's tour, Kona Coffee Living History Farm, leads visitors back in time to learn the history of a Kona coffee plantation. The tour winds through the Uchida Farm, a working farm established in 1913. The Kona Nightingales, as these donkeys were called, were used on the farm to haul coffee. Costumed interpreters explain as well as demonstrate the way of life at Uchida Coffee Farm. Seasonal farm-grown fruits and traditional Japanese food are served during the tour. Authentic coffee processing machinery from the 1925 to 1945 period is demonstrated. This machine is separating the parchment from the coffee bean. The coffee is then spread out for drying. Coffee growers at Holualoa Kona Coffee Company, a modern-day coffee mill, take you from the orchard to the mill and then to the roasting room, explaining and then demonstrating how coffee is processed today. Samples of freshly roasted 100% Kona coffee are served. Kailua Kona is known throughout the islands for its spectacular sunsets. After sailing 150 nautical miles from Kailua Kona, the MS Patriot returns to her home port on Oahu. The Aloha Tower, which was built in 1921, greets the ship upon arrival. During the Second World War, this well-known landmark's light was blacked out and the tower was camouflaged so that it would not be easily sighted by any approaching enemy. The ship docks at historic Honolulu Harbor on Oahu's southern side. Oahu is the most populated of the Hawaiian Islands and measures 40 miles long, 26 miles wide, with an area of 608 square miles. A short walk from the harbor is historic downtown Honolulu. The bronze statue is a replica of the original statue that honors King Kamehameha the Great, unifier of the Hawaiian Islands. The original is located near Kamehameha's birthplace in Kohala. Built by King David Kalakaua, Iolani Palace was completed in 1882. Some of the stones for the foundation are said to have been brought from Kuki'ihe'iao in Puna on the Big Island. In 1895, Queen Liliuokalani was imprisoned here for 8 months by the unlawful provisional government. The building is now a museum and is cared for by friends of Iolani Palace. Waikiki Beach is perhaps the best-known beach in the Hawaiian Islands. At one time, Waikiki was a favored area of chiefs because of the good board surfing. Waikiki's rich swampland was highly cultivated. The swamps have since been drained to form the Alawai Canal. Diamond Head Crater, another of Hawaii's best-known landmarks, can be seen from Kapiolani Park. This famous landmark derives its name from the calcite crystals in the rocks which resemble diamonds. The highest peak is Le'ahi and is 760 feet high. In ancient times, the crater was used for holua sledding, a dangerous sport where ali'i tested their courage by sliding down a stone incline on a narrow wooden sled. Honolulu's harbors gained in importance for the United States as the Second World War began to unfold. The main part of the United States Naval Fleet was transferred from the West Coast to Pearl Harbor by May 1940. An area along the eastern side of Ford Island that was commonly called Battleship Row had plenty of mooring and docking locations for ships. It was here that the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. A visit to the Arizona Memorial at Pearl Harbor is a deeply moving experience. National Park Service rangers oversee the memorial, which includes a military museum. A Navy launch shuttles visitors to the memorial. The Arizona Memorial is an airy structure built across the width of the sunken USS Arizona, one of the 19 ships bombed that historic December morning. The massive ship can be seen just below the surface of the water. A marble wall at the end of the memorial has been carved with the names of the 1,178 men who lost their lives on the ship. The USS Missouri, the famous battleship also known as Mighty Mo, can be seen from aboard the USS Arizona Memorial. On September 2, 1945, more than 2 weeks after accepting the Allies' terms, Japan formally surrendered aboard Mighty Mo and ended World War II. The ceremonies took place in Tokyo Bay, where the USS Missouri and other United States and British ships were anchored. Below deck is the famous Truman Line, where President Truman ate with the enlisted men while he was on board. The Missouri offers a glimpse of the past and the experience of being aboard a ship alive with history as well as modern technology. 40 miles north of Honolulu in the town of Laie is the Polynesian Cultural Center. There are a total of 7 Polynesian villages in the center, which is located on 42 tropical acres. Each village has a unique culture which is depicted through dance as well as hands-on activities. The Samoan village is known for its fun coconut opening demonstration. Narrated canoe rides meander throughout the grounds. The Polynesian villages have been authentically recreated to reflect the respective group style of building. Native performers in traditional costumes treat you to their interpretations of Pacific history and myths in a rousing canoe pageant. Many of the performers are students at the nearby Hawaii campus of Brigham Young University. Nicknamed the Gathering Place, Oahu is indeed an ideal site to meet with friends and family. Whether you enjoy history, surfing, shopping, hiking, nature, or people watching, Oahu has something for everyone. This spectacular Hawaiian island offers the unique opportunity to explore remote tropical scenery just minutes away from modern city life. Hawaii's most populated island still has plenty of space for quiet contemplation. The Hawaiian Islands have enchanted people for thousands of years. They were discovered by ancient Polynesians who ventured forth in sailing canoes. Explorers were drawn to what was then called the Sandwich Isles. Now, aboard the MS Patriot, you too have enjoyed Hawaii's charm and power. The United States Lines invites you to return to Hawaii soon to once again cruise the beautiful Hawaiian waters and relive the spirit of the islands.